So many of you asked for my sourdough recipe, so here it is, my simple sourdough loaf, but I'd make two at once because one is never enough. We start with 300 grams of sourdough starter into a bowl. Ceramic bowls would be better. I currently don't have one because it broke. Followed by 650 mils of lukewarm, kind of room temperature water. And then for two loaves, I only add in a tablespoon of salt because my baby does use this as well. But if you would like, you are welcome to add in 2 tablespoons. And then followed by 1,000 grams of flour. This, like I said, will make 2 loaves, so you can split it in half if you just want the one, but I find that 1 loaf is just never enough. I have sensory problems, so I'm not a huge fan of mixing with my hands, so I do start off with the spatula, and then when it comes together, I start to mix it a bit more until it's mostly incorporated but not neat. Put a wet tea towel over it and leave it for 30 minutes. Then you do your first stretch and fold. You just pull each corner up and fold it over until you go around, and the first one I do pick up and turn upside down just to make sure it's fully incorporated. And then we do a stretch and fold kind of every 30-ish minutes. But honestly, I am not precious about this. As long as you do 2 stretch and folds within the first hour, then I just make sure that I do 6 to 8 stretch and folds throughout the day. This is something you want to do when you're at home most of the day, or you have someone at home for the day. Another reason why I make 2 at once, so that I don't have to do it multiple times a week. Then just before I go to bed, after I've done the 6 to 8 stretch and folds throughout the day, I divide the dough into 2 roughly equal balls, and how I do that is I kind of cut them in half and then pull and stretch them across the work surface to make a neat ball, but not to lose any of the air, I guess, that's inside. Once they're in the position that I like and how they look, I sprinkle over some flour on a piece of greaseproof paper and place it in a bowl overnight. It doesn't have to be like the one I've got here, it can be any bowl. I just have this, but I use other ones too. I'd make sure I place it upside down so that when I come to the morning to cook it, I flip it back the correct way. In the morning, preheat your oven to, I put it as hot as it goes, which is 250, but around that 200 mark is fine too. I take my dough out, flip it over and put it on the greaseproof paper the correct way. Score it with a knife and place it into a Dutch oven. This will be boiling, so please, please, please be careful. After 20 minutes, I take the lid off and cook it for another 15 minutes, and then that's it. So 35 minutes in total cooking time, and then make sure to leave it 30 minutes before cutting into